Welcome back, everyone. I'm joined today by Kim Cook, who is the Executive Director of the Opendoor Mission in Glens Falls. Welcome, Kim. It's very nice to see you.
Good morning. It's nice to see you, Jesse.
A little difficult for, especially you and I, we know each other really well. You know, we got to talk to you through a screen. I'm so used to seeing you in person, but I've been really anxious to speak with you, Kim. You hear a lot about people sheltering in place, right? When you don't have a place, that takes on a completely different meaning. And we're talking about perhaps the most vulnerable part of our population, the people that you help and your organization helps. So let's just do a quick update. How are you doing, and what steps have you taken to try to protect the mission, yet still supply services?
Well, it's been a twisty road for sure. Like everybody else, we started this, and it seems like it changes day to day, week to week, and so we've kind of eased into this place where we started with doing to-go meals at the kitchen instead of having the dining room open. And then we got to a place where we felt like we had to shut that down because people were congregating, and it wasn't healthy for the community. So we've given those people food from the food pantry and asked them to let us know when they need more. Otherwise, the mission on 226 Warren Street is pretty much shut down to shelter in place. Nobody's really coming in and out of that facility other than one little part where we still have the food pantry and the backpack program open.
Yes, got you. Now, I've been to the mission many times. You are able to accommodate north of 10 people, right? And you have quite a few residents in place right now, correct?
Right. We currently have 18 beds. We just, in the last month, added 4 new beds. So we're at 18.
Got you, okay. And how many residents are in place now?
15.
Wow, wow, wow. How do you staff that, and how do you take care of that if the mission is closed?
Well, normally we have quite a few staff in and
Right.
out through the day. We have completely shut down the administrative office. Everyone is working from home at
Okay.
this point, other than one person who comes in to take care of the mail and so on. Otherwise, the shelter is completely closed off. We only have 3 staff who are working that in the mission. We have some people who are watching cameras at night.
Yes.
From home. We've had to get very creative about how we staff, because we had to think about the staff who were high risk and the staff who may be living with someone who is having interaction, like in the healthcare system or whatever. And it really boiled down to 3 people who were able to go in there and not be high risk themselves and not be bringing something in. So those people are living there for the duration. We call them the SIP team, shelter in place.
Yeah.
And they're my heroes right now.
Boy, you know what? There's so many heroes, everyday heroes. You know what I mean, Kim? It's pretty remarkable. I'm interviewing a lot of organizations and a lot of people, and that's the one common thread, is sort of the unsung heroes, you know? So I would imagine those 3 people putting in quite a few hours then.
They are. Our overtime is a little higher than normal, but they are there on the ground. They've got great relationships with our shelter residents. They made Easter awesome for them. We had people donate things, and they got Easter baskets and had a nice ham dinner. And they're doing what they can to make it home for them, especially because they can't leave. So there's a lot to do.
Boy, I bet. With that, I really do want to talk then about, if the mission is closed and you're protecting the residents there, we do have the food pantry and, of course, the backpack program.
Right.
And let's talk about that. What's going on with the food pantry?
Well, we've determined that we have to keep that food pantry open. I don't want to shut that down in the midst of this because the need is growing so fast. From February to now, we have had a 235% increase in our food pantry. Families coming in need. one day we had 2 moms show up, and it was right when the shortages were really happening in the grocery stores a few weeks ago. And they came in because they get WIC, and they couldn't get the formula that they needed for the babies. And it just so happened, we don't normally keep formula. We pass it off to other organizations that deal with that. We actually had some that day. It was the exact brand that those moms needed. It was like, we really felt like God just provided for those moms in that moment. So we're providing for a lot of people. We're making it very safe and delivering things outside, and people can pick them up and put them in their cars. They're not coming in at this point, but that's run by 1 staff member and a volunteer at this point. So 2 afternoons a week, Monday and Thursday, from 2 to 5.
That's at the food pantry.
That's the food
Correct.
pantry.
Good. What about the backpack? You know, you and I have talked so many times about the need for school children, and I've said it many times. I'm just stunned when you realize that that meal that a child gets at school in the middle of the day may be either the only meal, substantive meal that they get, and that number has grown quite a bit as well, right?
Yeah, it just skyrockets. Every time I ask what's the number, it seems to have gone up. At this point, we're feeding 450 students in Glens Falls, Queensbury area.
Wow. Now, the way that was set up, of course, is that they could go to the mission to be able to pick up the food. How are you organized to be able to meet those needs?
Well, where we keep that is kind of in what we call our garage area right now. It's an unfinished space. And so we actually have our residents in the shelter packing those coolers to go to the schools. So they're staying busy, and we've lost all of our volunteers. At this point, we do over 15,000 volunteer hours a year, no volunteers. So our residents are stepping up. They're packing those coolers. They're left by a door, and somebody from the school comes in every 2 weeks and picks that up.
Got it. Well, Kim, talk about everyday heroes, right? We've got time I'd really love to just cycle on the one thing that I think we should ask everybody for. I know that the Iron Chef fundraiser's canceled for May. We need donations, right?
We do. We function on donations, and those events are really important for our bottom line every year.
Yeah, got it. All right. So everybody out there, you know what we need to do. Please, I know Kim for a number of years now, and what she and her staff do at the Opendoor Mission is phenomenal work, and it protects the most vulnerable amongst us, which I think we all have to remember when we shelter in place. Where do they shelter in place? All right, Kim, keep up the good work, huh?
Thank you.
And I'll check in with you soon, and please call us anytime you need help.
Thank you, Jesse.
Okay, you take care.